Hi guys, and welcome back to Coil Life. Today we're going to be having a look at this RTA here. This little guy is the MK RTA from Acevape. Acevape are a company I have not heard of before, but they did get in touch and they sent me one of these for review. It comes in stainless steel, a black, and this one, which is the other option, which I'm assuming is the gunmetal because that's what it looks like. Single or dual coil RTA, 25mm diameter, top airflow, which personally I'm not really a big fan of, but it vapes okay. That is a 0.08 ohm build at 100 watts on the Drag 2 from Vape, and it does perform pretty well. So before we go into any more details about this, let's drop down and have an up close and personal tour around the MK RTA. Okay guys, so here we are with the MK RTA from Acevape Tech. And the box it comes in, and you've got a little bit of Facebook and Instagram there. The Acevape Tech website, MK RTA. Just the address for them. And we've got stainless steel, black and other. So your contents there, what you've got in the box. So we have a look inside. We've got a little user manual, deck into the tank. So suggested inner coil, single coil, inner diameter 3.5mm, dual coil 3mm. How to screw the deck into the tank. So then in the box we have the RTA itself in this sort of a gunmetal grey colour. You also get an Allen key. We have our bubble glass, and then a little bag with a red 810 drip tip, some spare grub screws and seals, and also a 510 drip tip adapter. So if we have a look around the tank, we do have our 810 drip tip on the top. That one has a little recess there for that lip on the top also. It is a top airflow tank. Your airflow control ring then does stop fully open, fully closed. Whatever you do on one side will happen exactly the same on the other. On the bottom you've got a gold plated 510 pin, MK RTA, and your serial number there as well. The filling port then, you've got these little knurl bits on the top. You just grab that, give it a couple of twists, and then that's your filling port. Nice big juice holes there to get access to. Screw that back in then. So the capacity of this tank as it sits with the straight glass is 3ml of liquid. If you use the bubble glass, you will get 5ml of e-liquid in your tank. Now, the base of this, it is a little bit unusual. You've got these two sections, so when you turn this piece here, you can see that is turning. The center stays still, so when you unscrew that, you just unscrew the threads, and then your deck will pop out like that. And you've got these little notches either side there that locate the build deck there. So that slots in, and basically you screw then your threads in separately. So if you hold the deck there and you spin, so that's spinning this base piece here, which contain your threads, and that's how this one works. So if you have this screwed down on a mod and you try and screw your tank onto it, it's not going to work. You need to physically place it into those locators and then spin the base to get that to screw tightly in there. So the build deck itself then, we do have this postless deck going on, a positive and negative there, separated by a peak insulator. You do have these nice big cotton holes there to put your cotton down into. So what we'll do is we'll get a couple of coils in here and I'll show you how to wick this up. Okay, so one thing I do have to point out is that the space between your positive and negative posts is very, very small. So you will be restricted to the type of coil that you can pop in there. So any of your big exotic builds, they're just not going to work. What I've got is a fuse Clapton. I've pre-cut these down to a 4mm length, which is just perfect for the posts on this build deck. I've used this little tool here just to snip the legs off my leads. So if I pop that in, you'll see how tight it is. It is very tight to get your coils seated in there. I'll just get rid of that for a second. Pop that in. You really don't have very much space in there at all. So we've got the one coil in there, so all we need to do then is just to tighten down the legs. So once you've got your coils then installed, tightened down, you can take your coiling rod and just position them to how you want it. So pop that in, give it a little twist around. The other side. Just get that one and straighten that one up a little bit better. There we go, just about. That will do us. They're a 3mm inner diameter coil. So if we get our cotton and just feed it through our coil, just like that. And the same on the other side. That's it, we just need to trim that down now a little bit. Okay, so we have trimmed our cotton out, thinned it down a little bit. It's just time to tuck it down into those channels. That's it, that's one side done. And now for the other side. Just tidy that up a little bit. Okay, so that's the cotton all in. And you can see just underneath, you can barely see just the tips of the cotton coming through there. That's going to soak up all that juice. So if we unscrew this then from our mod, because you don't want it on a mod when you try and put it back together, and then pop it in, it'll locate those locators. There we go. And then screw the threads back in. That's it, just ready to get filled up with some juice, and we'll go back up on top and have a little vape on it. Okay guys, so that was the up close and personal tour around the MK RTA from Acevape. Now, as far as top airflow RTAs go, I'm not a fan. Never have been. I think this, for me, there's too much of a restriction in that airflow. It has to come down and back up. Bottom airflow RTAs are my thing. That's what I prefer. This one, you can do it single or dual coil if you want, although dual coil I think is the better option. The flavour is pretty good, to be fair. I mean, I personally like to vape around about 60 watts, so 60 watts with this. It's an okay vape. What they market this for is higher wattage vaping, shorter tank, higher watts, as far as their website says. So we put this back up to 100 watts, which is where I had it originally, and like you saw, it is the dual fuse Clapton coils that I've got in there, and the flavour just improves dramatically from that 60 to 100 watts. I think 100 watts, those coils, that build, this tank, that's its sweet spot. Looks wise, it's okay. It's very, or not too dissimilar to the Geek Vape top airflow RTA. I'm not a fan of top airflow RTAs personally. This one performs pretty well. Not too dissimilar to many other ones, apart from the way the deck section spins independently from your base plate, so to speak, so that it lines up and everything is set in place when you put it all together, and the airflow lines up with your coils. That being said, this thing, I'm not too sure whether it's for me. I don't totally dislike it. It performs pretty well. The flavour is pretty good. It's easy enough to build on as long as you get the legs of your coils cut just right, so that it's not going to touch the inside of the chimney section when you put the tank back together. Wicking is easy. It seems to keep up with 100 watts, the wicking on this. Being top airflow as well, it is forgiving in the sense that if you don't put enough cotton in there and you flood the deck a little bit, it's not going to leak because of the top airflow, although you might get a little bit of a gurgling when you're vaping, which is sometimes not very nice if you get some hot juice hit the back of your throat. But all in all, it's easy, it's simple. Personally, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy one, but I certainly wouldn't dissuade anyone who wanted to get one of these. I will, as always, pop a couple of links in the description below as to where you can get your hands on one of these, as well as links to the Acevape website where you can check it out for yourself. But from me and the MK RTA, that's all we've got time for. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and we'll catch you again soon.